Hello everyone. Now next we come to the next topic of third unit, that is network layer protocols. Okay, network layer protocols. So coming to network layer protocols, we have three protocols which helps for the network layer. The one is IP version v4, Internet Protocol version 4. The second one is ICMP version 4, Internet Control Message Protocol, that is version 4. And third one is IGMP, that is Internet Group Management Protocol. So there are three protocols which helps in the network layer. So we in this top video we are going to see only about IP version 4. Okay, that is Internet Protocol. So what is the use of IP protocol? Internet protocol is used for packetizing. It is used for packetizing, forwarding and delivery of packets. So there are three functions this IP version 4 will look into. The first one is packetizing, the second one is forwarding and delivery of packets. And what does Internet Control Message Protocol will do? And this protocol will handle all the errors. So when we are going to deliver the packets to the destination, so errors will be encountered. So those errors will be handled by Internet Control Message Protocol version 4. Next is Internet Group Management Protocol. This is Internet Group Management Protocol. Okay, and this protocol will helps in multicasting. This protocol helps in multicasting. So there are three protocols or that multicasting. Okay, so there are three protocols in network layer. One is Internet Protocol, second is ICMP, Internet Control Message Protocol, then third one is Internet Group Management Protocol. This IP protocol helps in packetizing, forwarding and delivery of packets. ICMP protocol will handle the errors and IGMP protocol will helps in multicasting. Okay, so first we will see the position of Internet Protocol and other network layer protocols in TCP/IP protocol suite. So in TCP/IP we have physical layer, data link layer, network layer, transport layer and application layer. So we will see what all the protocols and which has been placed in this all these layers. Coming to application layer, so it has several protocols, that is like SMTP, FTP, Telnet, DNS, SNMP and DHCP. Okay, these all several protocols which will be studying in application layer. SMTP is simple mail transfer protocol, FTP is file transfer protocol, Telnet domain name system, DNS is domain name system, SNMP is simple network management protocol and DHCP is dynamic host configuration protocol. Next, transport layer contains TCP and UDP, that is transport control protocol and user datagram protocol. Next, coming to the network layer has these protocol, that is IGMP and ICMP placed in the top and Internet Protocol placed in the middle, and you have ARP protocol which is placed in the bottom of the right side of your network layer. So IGMP and ICMP, it is placed in the top, that is Internet Control Message Protocol and Internet Group Management Protocol and Control Message Protocol, and this is IP protocol, and ARP is Address Resolution Protocol. This already we have know what is the use of ARP. ARP helps in resolving link layer addresses into it will map the link layer addresses to IP addresses. This is the function of ARP. And data link and physical layer, you have LAN, the specified LAN and WAN will be there. So this is what the position of this is a diagram for the position of IP and other protocols in TCP/IP layer. Okay, now we are going to see only about Internet Protocol. Next, coming to this IP protocol. So coming to IP protocol, it is a unreliable datagram service. It is an unreliable datagram protocol. What do you mean by unreliable datagram protocol? So unreliable means it is similar to a post office delivery. So when you are sending your letter through post okay, what happens is the sender doesn't know whether the letter has been received properly it has been sent properly to the destination or not. Similarly, this internet protocol also, it is unreliable. So it doesn't know whether the package has been reached properly to the destination. So it is called unreliable. It is a datagram protocol. So if you want to make this to be a best effort, if you want to make the delivery to be in best effort delivery service, so what you have to do is that usually you should pair it with TCP protocol in transport layer. Okay, in transport layer you have a TCP protocol. So if this IP protocol paired with TCP protocol, then you will get the best effort delivery service. What do you mean by best effort delivery services? Usually IP packets get lost, or it will be out of order, or the packets may be corrupted, or it can there will be some congestion occur. So the packets will not be reached to the destination properly. In that case, if you are going to couple this IP protocol with TCP protocol, then your packets will be delivered properly to the destination without any delay, or without any congestion, or without any corruption. Okay, this is what is, it will provide you a best effort delivery service. And we can also say IP protocol to be, it is a connectionless protocol also. So here what happens is, like, we are not going to establish the connection and we are going to send the data. So it is a connectionless service. All the packets, it will be all the datagrams here are independent. So there will not be a connection will not be there between all the datagrams. So what happens is, they will take all the datagrams, they can use any path to reach a destination. So if they are going in different paths, and the destination, all the datagrams can be out of order also. So we can say IP protocol is an unreliable datagram protocol. It is a connectionless protocol. If you want to give a best effort delivery service, then you can couple TCP protocol with IP. It will give you the best effort delivery service. Okay. We will see what is the main function of internet protocol is packetizing. So we will see the first service that is provided by IP, that is packetizing. So the packets coming from the higher layer, it will be passed to the network layer. So in this network layer, the packet format only we are going to see it now. So here the packets are called as datagram. In network layer, packets are called as datagrams. Okay, so the packets are called as datagrams, but in case of your data link layer, it is called as frame. So it is datagrams. So usually if you consider an IP datagram, so it will contain and data that is called as payload. Here it is called as payload, and you had an header. So the network layer, what it does is, network layer, it will get the data that is a payload or data from the transport layer. Okay, it will get the payload or data from the transport layer. The network layer, it will add its own header to this data. So the header will be of size 20 bytes to 60 bytes. So the length of the header will be 20 bytes to 60 bytes. And what is the length of the data, entire datagram? That is this one entire datagram, it will be of the size 20 bytes, starting from 20 bytes to 65,535 bytes. So this is the length of entire datagram. This is the IP datagram. So coming to IP datagram, so the data, it will add the header. Data link layer will add its own header and trailer. But here network layer will add only the header. Header will be of length 20 bytes to 60 bytes. So the entire length of the network layer will be 20 bytes to 65,535 bytes. Okay. So now we will see the header format now. So now we will see this header format. So this header I have told you, like, it is of 20 bytes to 60 bytes. So now we will see what are all the information you have to keep it in the header. So the header, first it will have the version number, header length. I'll explain to you later. So first we will see what are all the fields you have in your header. So version number, and next 4 bits will be occupied by header length. Next 16 bits will be occupied by service type. Next 16 bits is occupied by total length. Next you have your identification number. Okay, this is identification number, which is of 16 bits. Okay, next you have your flags, that is of 3 bits. And next you have your fragmentation. Since this network layer also helps in fragmentation, so it is fragmentation offset is placed over here. It is of 13 bits. So totally 16 bits is there. 3 bits is occupied by flags and remaining 13 bits is occupied by fragmentation offset. And you have here time to live. Okay, time to live value which is of 8 bits. And next you have a protocol. Which protocol you are going to use it for transmission, that is also which is of 8 bits. Next you have your header checksum. Okay, checksum which is of 16 bits. Okay, these are the fields. Next field is source IP address. Source IP address. You need a source and IP address to identify where that particular packet has been sent from. So which is of 32 bits. And next you have your destination IP address. That is also 32 bits. Last is options. Okay, so this will be of 0 to 40 bytes. Okay, this is what you have. These are the information you have to add it with along with your data. So first is version, header length, service type, total length, identification number, flags, fragmentation offset, time to live, protocol, header checksum, source IP address, destination IP address, and options. Okay, we will see one by one now. Now I will explain about the fields of IP header. First coming to the version. Okay, this version defines the IP version 4 protocol. So the version which you are using for IP protocol is version 4. That number is specified here with 4 bits. Next comes your header length. Header length specifies the length of the header. Usually this has to be, this length should be fit into this 4 bits. So usually suppose if the header length is 5, what the receiver has to do is he has to multiply this value by 4. So that value will give you the value called 20 bytes. So the length of the header is 20 bytes. So here actual length of the header may be from 20 bytes to it is 60 bytes, 20 bytes to 60 bytes, as we have already seen. The length of the header, it will be from 20 to 60 bytes. So here if the value of the header length is 5 over here given here, since it has to fit within the 4 bits, they have given this number. Suppose if the value specified here is 5, the receiver has to multiply this number by 4 so that actual length of the header can be found. Okay, next is service type. Service type will tell you the type of the datagram, what type of service is this particular IP is going to provide for you. That is the service type. Next is total length. Coming to the total length of the this total length of the data, that is here the total length defines both the header and also plus data. Here the total length is nothing but the header plus data. Okay, so if you want to calculate the length of the data, so how will you calculate the length of the data alone? That will be nothing but this total length minus this h length. H length is the header length into 4. So when you calculate this value, you can find out the value for total length of the data alone. So as actually we know that you have an header and you have a data. So here the total length, here this value specifies the length of both the header and data. Suppose if you want to find out this length of the data alone, so what you have to do is you have to subtract the values total length from this header length. So header length you have to multiply by 4, that header length into 4, that subtracted from the total length will give you the length of the data alone. Okay, next is identification, flags and fragmentation. This we will I'll explain all these 3 things later after this topic. Okay, so this are used for fragmentation. Identification is used to give the identification number for each datagram packet, that is the identification. And flags and fragmentation I'll explain to you later. Next is time to live period, time to live value. This time to live value, it is nothing but a value which will be created whenever a datagram is created. Usually suppose for example you have a source and here you have a destination. In between you have so many routers. Okay, router 1, router 2, router 3. So what happens is this time to live period, it will be set by the sender. This value this value it is nothing but twice the number of routers. Okay, twice the number of routers. Okay, this value will be set with the value of 2 into number of routers in your network. So that value will be set over here. Every time this packet or datagram reaches your next hop, this TTL value will be decremented. Likewise, it goes on decrementing. Once this TTL value is become 0, then the packet or datagram will be discarded. Okay, this is the function for time to live value. Next is protocol. Coming to the protocol, so we need to know what type of protocol we are going to use it for sending the packet. So for this, we have given some values for this. If you are going to use ICMP protocol, the value for this is 01. Okay, and if you are going to use IGMP protocol, it is 02. And if you are going to make use of TCP protocol while you are sending the packet, it is 06. And UDP protocol, it is 017. So these are the values you have to mention in protocol. So this protocol, you have several values are given, so you can make use of all these values to specify in this protocol. Whichever protocol which you are going to use it along with IP protocol, you can mention it. Whether IC Internet Control Message Protocol means 01, Internet Group Management Protocol, it is 02. If you are going to couple with the Transport Control Protocol, it is 06, and User Datagram Protocol, it is 17. Okay, next is header checksum. So since we all know that the packet can be corrupted or it can be lost, so for that purpose, so to do the error correction and detection, we are going to have header checksum. That will also I'll explain to you after this. Okay, and next comes your source IP address and destination IP address. This is of 32 bits. As we all know, IP address will be specified with the help of 32 bits. So we have to give the exact source address from which you are going to send the data and to which destination you are going to send. So both this thing, it will be mentioned over here. So the options will tell you whether it may be any error correction. All these options, it will be specified over here. This is what you have the fields in your IP header. Okay, so along with the data, you have to send this IP header which contains all this information: version number, header length, service type, total length, and you have an identification number, flags, fragmentation offset, time to live period, and then protocol. You have to mention the header checksum, source IP address, destination IP address, and the options. Okay, next comes the fragmentation. The next service provided by IP protocol is fragmentation. So what is fragmentation? Actually, whenever the data, if it exceeds the maximum the length, so we need to do this fragmentation. So whenever fragmentation is done, the header is also added to each datagram. Okay, that is what fragmentation is done. So first we will see what is, we already know that is like in the packet, that is in the header, we have a bit called flags. I told you, like I will be explaining this flags and also fragmentation offset. That is what I am explaining now. This identification is a 16-bit identification number which is given to each datagram. Okay, so now we will see about this the flags. So coming to the flags, you have 3 bits. Okay, the first bit is reserved, which is not used usually. So this is reserved and which is not used. The second bit, it is called as the D bit. Okay, it is called D bit. The second bit is called as D bit, and it is nothing but do not fragment. It means it is do not fragment. Okay, if you want that datagram not to be fragmented, you can give this value D bit to set this value 1. So when this D bit is set to 1, it means you cannot fragment the datagram. Do not fragment. Okay, the fragmentation cannot be done. What do you mean by 0? 0 means you can do the fragmentation. That means you can divide the data into so many fragments. Okay, this fragmentation can be done. So the D bit specifies whether it is called do not fragment. When it is 1, it is do not, you cannot fragment the datagram. If it is 0, you can fragment the datagram. So whenever the data, if it is the datagram, it passes to the next router. If it wants that data, the router can fragment the data, and it is the purpose of the, it is the duty of the receiver to do all the reassembling of all the fragments at last. Okay, the next last bit is called M bit. Okay, the last bit is M bit. What do you mean by M bit? M bit is nothing but more fragment. Okay, more fragment bit. So when this bit is set to 1, when this bit is set to 1, that means datagram, it is not the last fragment. You have still more fragments are available. So when you're sending the datagram, you will be setting this value as 1. If suppose if you have fragmented and you have sent, you have fragmented the data into 3 fragments and you are sending the first fragment, and in that you will be sending this value to be 1. That means still more fragments are there. Okay, so the receiver will think that okay, the data is not, it is not the last fragment, still some more fragments are there. When this value is set to 0, it means that this is the last and only fragment. This is the last fragment. So after this there is no data is going to come. Okay, this is what this bit is going to mention you, whether you have more fragments or this is the last fragment. When this bit is 1, it means it is more fragment is there after this data, and if this is 0, this is the last fragment. Okay, this is all about the flags. Next we will see what is fragmentation offset. Next is fragmentation offset. The fragmentation offset value will tell you the relative position of the fragment with respect to the whole datagram. So this you can say that it is an offset of the data. So usually the offset of the data, since we cannot able to give all the values in the fragmentation, so we can give the offset values in this. So this is usually measured in 8 bytes. Okay, so now we will see how fragmentation is done. So you can see this is an original datagram. You have which consists of 4000 bytes of data, 00 starting from 000 to 4000 bytes. So now we are going to do into 3 fragmentation, 3 datagrams, so which each containing 1400 bytes. Okay, 1400 bytes, and the remaining over here we are going to have 1200 bytes. So starting from 000 to 1399, we are going to do one datagram. Another one 1400 to next is 2799, we are going to give other datagram, and third one is 2800 to 3999, we are going to give the next fragmentation. Okay, we are dividing the entire whole datagram into 3 fragments like this. First 2 containing 1400 bytes and the next one containing 1200 bytes. So now we will see how we will mention the offset value. So since it is, I have told you, like it is measured in 8 bytes, so we have to take the first value that divided by 8, that is nothing but 0. So the offset value for this datagram is 0, and for this the starting byte value is 1400, that divided by 8 we will get 175. So the offset value is 175, that will be mentioned in that offset. So here the starting is 2800 by 8, that we will get 350. This is the offset. So this is how we will calculate the offset value, and these values have to be added in this offset, fragmentation offset. Okay, see a detailed fragmentation, how fragmentation works. So for example, the data which we have seen in the previous example, where we are dividing the data into 3 fragments. So initially we are dividing into F3, F2 and F1. Okay, so we are dividing into 3 fragments, and we will see how reassembling is done in the destination side. So source side, and you have 2 routers in between R1 and R2, and you have R3, and here you have the destination. So this F1, so F3 and F1 will pass in this way through the router R1 and R2. It will reaches your destination like this, F3 and F1. Okay, but F2, it again divided into 2 fragments, F2.2 and F2.1. Okay, and it comes through the router R1 and R3, and again from R3 to R2, that is F2.2, and here F2.1. So at last here it reaches here F2.2 and F2.1. Okay, likewise it goes on. So all the fragments will get reassembled over here in destination side. Okay, so we are dividing the entire data, the whole datagram is divided into 3 fragments, F3, F2 and F1. It reaches router R1, and F2 it goes through the router R3. Again this F2 is divided into F2.2 and F2.1, and from here it goes to the router R2 and then reaches destination. But other fragments it passes through the same way. Okay, now we will see how fragmentation, when fragmentation is done, how header format also it should be changed. We will see that how it happens. So first over here, since it is 4000 bytes, so we will take in 4020 bytes over here. Since in the it should be in the multiples of 8, we have taken 4020, and some identification number should be given for all the fragments. So the data, we have given the identification number to be 14,567, so which we will mention in all the sub fragments also, 14,567. So it means that all the data, it belongs to the same datagram. Okay, so here we are dividing the entire, that is original data, this is the original datagram, and we are dividing into 3 fragments. Over here we have divided into 3 fragments, so f1, f2, f3. So this is the header format for the f1, and this is f2 and f3. Okay, again this f2 is subdivided into 2 fragments, that is f2.1 and this is f2.2. okay, f2.1 and f2.2. so whenever fragmentation is done, separate header will also be added to each datagram. Okay, so now we will hear the m bit over here is 0. Since there is no fragment for this particular original datagram, we are giving this m bit to be 0, and the offset value is 0. Okay, the offset is over here, it is 0 0 0. When coming to the first fragment, here it is, we are going to mention that since it is divided into 1400 bytes, so each 1400, 1420, 1420, and the remaining 1220 is given to this particular the last fragment called f3. Now we will mention what is the m bit over here. M bit over here is 1 because still you have more fragments, so we are going to set the value m bit to be 1 over here, the flag bit to be 1. And the offset value, as I have told you in the previous case, the offset value, how to calculate the offset value: the first fragment it is 0, the second fragment it is 175, and for the third fragment 350. So that value you have to mention it over here. So the 0 0 0 for the first fragment, second fragment it is 175, and for the third fragment it is 350. Okay, the m bit for this value is also 1. Still you have more fragments. But coming to the last fragment f3, so still this fragment does not have any other fragment next to it. So here the m bit value will be 0 over here. Coming to the sub fragments of f2, so here you are dividing into 800 bytes into the 1420 is divided into 820 and 620 here, and here it is the m bit value is 1, which means that it is it has some more fragment to continue, and and here it is also 1. Still it is having third fragment, so it is mentioned here 1 over here, and the offset value is 275. So this is how the values are being filled in your header form, IP header. So while you are dividing that whole datagram into sub fragments, all these values are filled like this. Okay, you understood this? Okay, thank you all. So in today's lecture we have learnt what is IP datagram. So in that we have learnt about the format of IP header, and we have learnt how to packetizing and how to do this forwarding. Okay, thank you all.